government and politicians and media seem to be totally in their own, even as George Carlin said, club. It's a club. And in that club, they do for themselves. They do for the corporations, and the corporations do for them. And it's this revolving sort of cycle in which they do not answer to the people. They do not do what the people ask them to do. And on top of that, they are extorting money from the people, just like some sort of large mafia, extorting money from the people. If the people do not give up the money, the people get thrown in cages. So this is the situation we live in all over the world. And we know this situation's got to change. We know this is one of the biggest problems of the world we live in today, somehow or another, and we all somehow or another collaborated with it. And of course, we continue to have to collaborate because of tax dollars. If we refuse to pay tax dollars to these sort of criminal allegiances or alliances, if we refuse to pay tax dollars, then of course, then we are thrown in cages too. So I'm going to fast forward now to this election season, because this election season has some interesting stories going on. Of course, they've had different conventions, Democratic convention, Republican convention. And they are, of course, all these actors that are behind the wall. And the only ones that they are going to present are the actors who will continue to work with the criminal alliance that is behind that wall. So there's not really a great amount that politics can do. Politics can buy us a little time, because we need time. We need time to organize in the way we need to organize. So in this election coming up, we don't have an express train to freedom, to human freedom and human dignity. We don't have an express train for that in this election coming up. We have a local train. We have a local train that could get us to the next stop. The next stop could be just simply medical freedom, or the ability to hold on to your families, raise your children with some sense of freedom, and continue to build in a dignified way, and continue to be able to make, to have some sort of income flowing in, to have a business. So all these things are the next bus stop, because of course the last bus stop we were at, which I think was the destruction of businesses, the destruction of, and the continued destruction of businesses, and destruction of civil rights. That came all of a sudden in 2021. And both parties, whether it's Republican or Democrat, both have a hand in this. But one party in particular has really shown out. It has shown out, really been all in on this, and that's the Democratic Party. The Democratic Party is largely been geared toward tyranny over the last several years. It's not the Democratic Party of the 60s. The Democratic Party of the 60s, that's where the Democratic Party got its swag from. It's got its swag from the 60s. It's got its swag particularly from Fannie Lou Hamer. So if you don't know who Fannie Lou Hamer is, check out Fannie Lou Hamer. She is probably the main person who gave the Democratic Party its swag, its reputation that it has today. Following that were several civil rights leaders who joined and started working with the Democratic Party. This was probably these were the golden eras of the Democratic Party. But at some point they became hijacked. They became hijacked by globalists, by maybe very large institutions with a great deal of money, WEF, WHO, Big Pharma, some other ones that I probably don't need to mention, but all of them, really with huge resources that are funneling great deals of money into the Democratic Party and writing the policy for that party. And that party is playing a very interesting game on us by using the faces of indigenous, the faces of black, brown faces of females as representatives. And at the same time they're using these faces, they are doing something quite the opposite of what they're trying to represent on their face. They are in the path of tyranny, and they've been in that path of tyranny for quite a while now. Prime example is what happened during the lockdown and what happened during the mandates. The Democratic Party was all in on that. And then even now, as we have two parties, which are both parties of genocide, we have the Democratic Party, which is not only all in on genocide. The Republican Party is all in on it too, but the Democratic Party is all in on genocide, and not only that, but they're all in on censorship. Censorship. That's like one of the main horses they're riding on, is the censorship horse. The problem with that is we need to be able to organize and protest. We need to be able to speak out. If we can't speak out, then any kind of genocide or atrocity can happen in the future. There's one happening right now. There's more than one happening right now. There's several happening right now. But it can continue with, and to be able to erase people's ability to speak out, to organize. That's really what the censorship is about. And so we have to really be aware of that going into this election cycle, that even though the figures that they put on the front of the Democratic Party are attractive to us, we have to look under the hood, no pun intended. You have to look under the hood of the Democratic Party and realize what's going on with the Democratic Party. Even though some of the leaders may mean very well and talk very well, we have to look under the hood for the Democratic Party.